Hey, what's good, everyone? Glad y'all are tuning in on my newest episode of Frame by Frame, starring moi, Christopher Not Nolan, where we take a deep dive into many fictional universes and go on lots of made up adventures vicariously through memorable characters, while also providing inspiration, creativity, and in depth conversations. Now, a few episodes in already, y'all seem to have caught on how every Thursday I do a throwback take to an iconic film that has cemented itself onto society for being historic. Ooh, you know what? That ain't the right word. I just felt like history class hearing that and my eyes are rolling back into my head. Okay. You know what? I got you. I will say quintessential onto society and leaving a mark onto the film industry. So for this throwback take, I had decided to share one of my personal favorites that was on a previous episode of my top 100 films, where I talked more of my personal feelings towards this movie, where this will be dived deeper into the details behind the details behind the production of making it, while of course expressing more of my personal connection with some of my favorite quotes, since this one is a special film for me. So before we step up to the plate, if you had a flashback of a film that randomly popped up in your head and the name of it is on the tip of your tongue, then you came to the right podcast, because I will pitch you questions while you're at bat. The bases are loaded. The anticipation is here, and your mind is at a swing for the fences. When I throw my curveball, we will guarantee that you will hit your grand slam and remember the name of that film that you loved so much. So while you take your victory run, hit the like button on first base, follow the show at second base with whatever streaming service that you listen to podcasts, click the bell at the third base so the way you stay up to date of our newest episodes, and when you get to the home plate, share the achievement and the show, of course, with family and friends to unite on a common love of a film slash franchise. And you know what? Throw a TV series in there. Wow, just for the hell of it. So let's hit it out of the park today with a home run and land into today's episode. So, for those that are not familiar with the vernacular that was used in this intro, those are baseball terms that are strongly associated with the choice of today's throwback take. Stated once again, this is a film I always watched as a kid, and over time, it has gained the reputation of a cult favorite classic, being a warm hearted sports comedy coming of age, which is The Sandlot, an iconic 90s film, and overall a film that I strongly cherish from my childhood. Directed, co written, and even narrated as the narrator by David Mickey Evans. The Sandlot was released on April 7th, 1993 by 20th Century Fox, where the plot is a group of young baseball players, all within the same neighborhood, during the summer of 1962, uniting for their love of baseball while playing on the local sandlot. It got 65% positive reviews upon its release with an audience rating of a B plus, and it grossed roughly 34 million at the time when it only had a 7 million budget, which is a huge profit at the time. And get this, it was rated PG for kids chewing tobacco and partly some language, which I will say right off the bat, no pun intended, that this film demonstrates what life was like in 1962. So knowing what society was like at the time, it's not that far off from what everyday talk was at the time for youth and adults alike. And once again, it's a time travel insight on not just how we are slash were when we were in our youth. It's also certain words that were not a big deal to say at the time. So I want y'all to do your best to try to see it through that lens. As for the chewy tobacco, well, rating films was very different back then, but don't raise that eyebrows. It's not like I was behind the rating. Now, to be honest, it wasn't even a huge deal to me with the cuss words that they said, nor the chewing tobacco at the time, other than I definitely did not want to do it. Now, let's get down to the details. The narration. When the director is narrating from Scott Small's perspective as an older version of him, his voice provides comfort of the play-by-play. A continuous glimpse into his mind, kind of like the tune Lizzie McGuire, except we don't have a baseball player animation for this. It's an essential part of the movie. We see from when Scott Smalls, when he's a young kid, he moves into a neighborhood out of state and he goes to the Sandlot for the first time, experiencing his feelings for like trying to find new friends and then being the rookie of the group, plus all of the memories that he is going to embark upon that summer. The narration lays out a sense of relatability and reflection very thoroughly. And so now to get into more details, like the lines and some of the memorable scenes. Some of y'all may not have heard of some of these terms like goofus, egghead, bitchin. That was previously used in another previous episode of Cowabunga, and even L7, which I remembered in the 90s. And that means a square, a loser, which is a synonym for basic in today's terms. Some of y'all may not remember these terms a lot, so props to those who do. And for those that are learning the terms, yeah, the creativity was quite something back then. Now, I like bitchin', but L7? I honestly do not know who made that up, but I know if someone got their hands and did the L7 like this and put them together, supposedly that was a big ooh time. Like, talk about crazy. Now, when it comes to certain lines, who would have thought that "you're killing me, Smalls" would have been a timeless quote to this day? I use that line every now and then, and I try to see who knows this illustrious film and where the line came from. Like I mentioned, you learn a lot about people based on the movies that they see and the remembrance of certain references. And shortly afterwards, like after "you're killing me, Smalls," we get another iconic word: forever, which includes the backstory of the Beast, which is into 5 minutes into the film, and another character that gets introduced. Now, the over dramatization of that word, like the over enunciation, is hilarious. Thank you to the creators of The Sandlot for owning this word, because now every time I say forever, I just want to enunciate it, and that scene is memorable in my head. Now, oh man, this specific scene claimed its importance later on as the plot device, where Small says, "I got us into the biggest pickle this summer." Hence, where some of the outrageousness comes into play with the squad. And to be honest, I remember thoroughly those scenes. Like, how the hell did they put all of this shit together in a short amount of time? And where did they even get this stuff? I will mention that another iconic line that is not going to sit right with Gen Zers, like I mentioned earlier, and perhaps some millennials, but bear with me, all right?
You play ball like a girl!
Now, this is 45 minutes into the movie where they face off into another squad. You know, these school kids with their uniforms on their bikes and acting all big shot because they play on a real diamond. And this Sandlot squad is not good enough to lick the dirt off of their cleats. Now, these insults, the back and forth, is mentioned by Ham. And Ham is one of the standout characters in this movie. And the back and forth insults, oh, this scene is nostalgic to watch because when I saw it as a kid versus how I'm watching it older now, oh wow, it's just I found it funny now. And it's just some people obviously view it as toxic if it was used in the same manner like an insult today. All right. Because this is one of the most three iconic scenes of the movie and the dead silence that happens afterwards, hilarious. This has submersed itself into everyday language, which shall continue on because I am not letting any of these lines die down. None of my watch. Now, fun fact, this movie was when I first learned what a s'more was. And of course, now I modernized my version of the s'more to replace it. Instead of graham crackers, I use Chips Ahoy chocolate chip cookies. Now, if you're like me and chocolate is your kryptonite, oh, you will love this. If you're not a fan of chocolate,
You're killing me, Smalls. You're killing me, Smalls.
no, unless you're allergic, okay, fine. You get a pass. Now, another memorable scene is the 4th of July scene, where they play one game night a year, which is on 4th of July. That scene, while it's not as long, it captures a lot of emotions and is one for the books. Now, I did notice that there was a great directing choice afterwards when Small steps up to the plate and hits that ball. Oh, love it, especially if you're wearing 3D glasses. Shit, that would knock you off your seat when it goes like that. Kind of like one of those videos that you see where it plays a trick on you, like you're watching something and you're so focused, and then it just comes towards the screen real fast, and you're like, what? It's, well, okay. This scene is a little bit more in slow motion, but I feel like it was a great choice, a great directing choice for doing this. And of course, it's just surprising now to look back on it and how much of it I remembered. And then the fact that it was rated PG because of partly for language and then it's chewing tobacco, which no worries, y'all. They only used licorice and bacon bits in order to resemble it. So the kids were not doing method acting at that point. Can you imagine? Yeah, that would not go down well. So That scene where it's at the carnival, yeah, it kind of speaks for itself, which is where the chewing tobacco comes into play. I found myself getting more emotional towards the end as an adult, mostly due to the nostalgia of just wanting to have those moments with friends in real lifetime in my youth. The campouts, the social hangouts, the memories, laughter, the stupid stunts to pull. And then it's just a fresh reminder of what life was like before technology took over our lives and how it showed the impact that one summer can have on you when you put yourself out there to make friends and you grow to cherish that memory in your youth. Then, especially in the ending, of course, I'm not going to spoil it for those who haven't seen it. It just hit me hard in my soul of that throwback. And honestly, I would just love to turn back time just to recapture myself watching the film and how a coming of age sports film with its simple aesthetic, funny lines, and empowering messages can have a strong ripple effect. It's amazing. Whew. All right, y'all. I'm going to catch my breath here and we will take our first break. Upon the return, I will continue taking a deep dive into the depths of what makes The Sandlot a timeless film. Welcome back, y'all. We have graciously been breaking down the supreme status that is of The Sandlot. We just scratched the dirt off of the cleats and of the home plate with these catchy lines and these relatable scenes that I have brought upon you. And duh, my own personal feelings mixed into all that. And now, just like Squints diving into the deep end of the swimming pool scene, we will meticulously dive into the depths of its timeless factors without desperately risking our lives, of course. Now, first off, we see the longing of belonging. We see, in this perspective of being a newbie in an unfamiliar environment and then just finding a way to fit in. The coming of age we all face when it comes to a transition, and particularly Smalls. I mean, he's the main character who moves into a new town out of state. He does not know the environment at all, and he is in an awkward period in his life where he's a socially awkward kid who is he's able to think and solve problems and construct material, and yet here lies his first challenge where he has to make friends. His first impression isn't great with the squad, but once he has help from Benny, his transition is smooth sailing from there. We also see a huge theme in friendship, in particular to Benny, who welcomes Smalls into the group and thus how the squad becomes fulfilled as a whole team. Now think about it. Benny felt bad and he can recognize that Smalls is new in town and he became his first and eventually main best friend. And just by the action of his kindness, it sets the course of welcoming with open arms throughout the course of the film. The common ground that they have is baseball, and yet Smalls does not know how to play, which is ironic. So in here walks Benny, where he's the backbone of the squad, and then he's over here helping out Smalls, and yet when the special achievement happens, we just we just feel that joy. We root for him on the screen. Well, at least I do every single time. Because, at least I do every single time. All because of Benny believing in him, because of Benny extending his hand out in kindness and welcoming him into the group. It is heavily implied that Benny is the oldest in the group. And because of that, he leads by example and he defends Smalls to the group when they're egging on him. Thus, slowly, they start accepting him as one of their own once he does that achievement. And we can sense the best friend vibes from them just by their first interaction. The energy works between the characters and even the actors as well. And this is where the memories start getting built. They start learning each other's sense of humor, shared fears, mutual interests. We see the energy is very strong here. We see how there's also another theme of teamwork with the other guys and the squad. And I'm not talking about just baseball. I'm talking about outside of baseball. So to break it down, now they're starting to play regularly together. They're starting to get to learn each other. And naturally, they travel everywhere as a tight unit. And when they are traveling to the local carnival, the 4th of July cookouts, the drugstore, the pool, they also come together for a common goal in the latter half of the film and see how they can work with each other where they fit it best. In that challenge of building their teamwork, they've got to overcome their main fear, which is the Beast, which is another character that I had mentioned earlier that gets introduced later. And of course, they have to have the courage to face their fear, which builds their character, strength, and resilience, especially in Unity. It helps that they're together for the summer and not separated from schools because they grow through this part of their life alongside each other. Also, there are elements of inspiration to persevere forward, which is connected to the challenges earlier. And how we see this inspiration and where there's inspiration, well, it comes from the most iconic quote of the film. Now, I mentioned earlier that there are three films that we use every single day in our lives with our friends, with our family. But this one quote, this one that establishes the foundation of our character, it plants a seed in our mind to grow into the positivity and it grows to for us to believe in ourselves. That's where this quote comes into play. Remember, kid, there are heroes and there are legends. Heroes are remembered, but legends never die. Follow your heart, kid, and you'll never go wrong. Just by that famous quote itself, it's self-explanatory. We see that quote being used as an action towards the end of the film, which, once again, I am not going to spoil it here for y'all. Y'all are going to have to watch this somehow. Now, there is a lot of feel-good vibes here in this film. And let's be honest, it is nearly impossible to recapture that same magic where there is clarity and like I said, it all comes down to technology not being taken over. Now, when it comes to the Sandlot and how it maintained its timeless element on society, it's like throwing a small rock in a pond or a lake. That rock leaves ripple effects and it goes on for a longing period of time. And that's where the Sandlot has done the same for its influence on other movies and even TV shows. There have been other works that have tried to recapture the magic of the Sandlot with similar themes and they were modernizing it in with the time of its release. So obviously, one of the cultural influences of this film is baseball culture, a popular American sport and a sport that has been referenced back to even the 1700s. Although Canada had the first official baseball game in 1838, and of course, Babe Ruth, considered to be the best player of all time, and where baseball, the sport, is the backbone of this film. No worries, y'all. I am not giving y'all a history lesson on baseball. So skip over that. Now we see the spirit and the joy that these boys experience while on their own diamond and how it resonates with most baseball players. Because a lot of baseball players have stated that this film was their influence to become a baseball player or to just fall in love with the sport. This film is often shown annually at festivals on 4th of July, in stadiums, and at MLB promotions to this day. And as I mentioned earlier, even some of the catchphrases that are taken from it have cemented itself as some of the most quoted lines in movie history. And it's just, to be honest, I am also moved that from a personal standpoint, growing up Hispanic, when I was younger, yes, I did see some Mexican films growing up, and that was implemental to my culture and to my background. But seeing Benny in the Sandlot leading the group with his talent, charisma, and his good heart, and he is a positive figure in this film. It kind of looked like I saw myself in Benny. And now looking back on it, it was very moving for me. And The Sandlot itself was also another film that showed diversity in social groups that didn't pay attention to skin color or use that as a driving force of hatred. They just used differences while living normally amongst each other with personalities, or in Small's case, the lack of ability to be good in a sport. The Sandlot has managed to maintain its longevity due to another note of nostalgia. Hence what I was talking about earlier. The fact that every time I watch it, it is an ode to my childhood. Seeing a similar time in America or just in general, where technology did not rule our lives. This is where people communicate with each other face to face on the regular and how society culture wasn't based on fame, influencers, followers, social media, and lacking trust in anyone who comes into your life for the fear of being used or being taken advantage of. No, it was based on establishing amity, goodwill, the trust through the actions, and then just being present in a summer adventure where you can shape the course of your upbringing. I personally remember all of that, and to be honest, I miss it immensely. And while there are pros of technology in our lives, It has also served some cons that it took away the magic in life that the Sandlot has graciously captured with the summer adventures, the youth culture, and even being older now. We see it as a touchstone. It has the ability to resonate with everyone of all ages. Also, the fact that kids could go wherever they want while letting their parents know their whereabouts just vocally. No tracking devices on the iPhones, no live tracking locations, none of that. Where is the trust in that now? I mean, let's get some of that back. And maybe it's a matter of this, maybe it's a matter of safety, but that's another discussion to talk about. Nonetheless, the legacy of the Sandlot isn't due to us being in love with it strongly. Y'all, it has been, get this, 31 years since its release. I cannot fathom to imagine that. And since then, the annual screenings that are happening at special events, especially during July 4th, I mean, where is this on y'all's summer movie list? I mean, because it is especially on mine. In terms of sports films, this is in my top three of my list. Just in general, of all genres, in my top 100, oh, this is very high up there. It is just like Mount Everest. Not every film can get up there. That because let's think about it. Not every film needs CGI twist or a socially political message to be iconic. A great film takes a village to compose it together and then make sure that the intentions are honorable from the start. And then just make sure to capture with what you got in your budget. In this case, it was a popular sport that unites a few kids, and the summer adventure just takes off from there. Whew, y'all see how I am spending so much breath here? Someone needs to feed me an oxygen tank because y'all, the passion in here is real. No cap. This is a very cherished film of mine that I love and I will strongly recommend for y'all to watch it wherever you can stream it and just let me know your thoughts on it. So here's what I'm gonna do. I am gonna cool down and I will take a break here. When I get back, y'all will be tuned in on a few fun matters, so stick around. Welcome back, y'all. Glad to see that y'all have stuck around. So, I have decided, after going into the deep end and making it live, of course, we are going to have some lighthearted fun with this next part. I'm going to open up my computer and I'm going to go ahead and take a BuzzFeed quiz to figure out which of the Sandlot kids would I be. And to clarify, I have not taken this quiz beforehand. I mean, why ruin the fun of you guys getting to hear my reaction for the first time? Especially when, for some of y'all can't see me do it. But some of y'all can. All right, so let me think. Before I start, I feel that with all nine kids and their differing personalities, I don't think I'd be Ham. He's way too out there. Unless some of y'all may think so, but don't lie to me. Now, I'm not socially awkward to be Smalls, and I'm not goofy like Squints, and I'm not a repeater like, yeah, yeah. Nah, I'ma just, you know what? I'm gonna shoot my shot here and say that maybe I am Benny. Because not only is he Hispanic, he's the oldest one, he's the one that brings out the positivity in the group, and he looks out for everyone. So without further ado, what are we waiting for? Let the games begin. So let's see. First question. Pick a position in baseball. Pitcher, catcher, any of the three bases, shortstop, left field, center field, or right field. You know what? I played t-ball when I was a kid, but I honestly don't remember what position that I was in. Okay, let's think about this. We got pitcher. No, I'm not gonna risk that. Catcher. I am not gonna risk that either. Any of the bases seem good. I wouldn't do shortstop. When it comes to left field, right field, I feel like there's way too much space out there. I want to be in on the action. So you know what? I'm gonna do second base, right in the middle. Okay, choose a sport other than baseball. We got basketball, football, softball, volleyball, track and field, wrestling, soccer, swimming, or lacrosse. Now, honestly, I the three that came to my head was basketball, volleyball, and swimming. I like those three the most. I like to swim, but as a sport, I don't know about that. And I'm still working on my backstroke. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna stick with basketball because I'm gonna get my Lucas Scott vibes. I'm not an Nathan Scott. If you know, you know. Okay, pick something Sandlot related. S'mores, The Beast, Wendy Peppercorn, The Great Bambino, The 4th of July Carnival, The Treehouse, The Heater Pitch, Mr. Myrtle, or the PF Flyers. All things well associated with the Sandlot. You know what? I'm gonna go with s'mores. Now, am I allowed to have chocolate chip cookies as it? If so, I will take s'mores. If not, then I might as well do the 4th of July Carnival because who's gonna turn down free food, right? But you know what? I'm gonna do s'mores. Okay. Pick a quote from the Sandlot. Oh, this is where it's gonna get juicy. This kid's a square. Is that your sister out there in left field? L7 weenie forever. You're killing me, Smalls. There's heroes and legends. Heroes get remembered, but legends never die. Just stand out there and stick your glove out in the air. I'll take care of it. You mix your Wheaties with your mama's toe jam. I think with all of these, I'm going to say one of the four. One of the four iconic quotes, obviously. I will probably do. I'm positive. So I'm going to go with the heroes and legends. I was very close to choosing You're Killing Me, Smalls. Okay, pick an animal. I wonder why. I bet you dog is going to be on there. Dog. What did I say? Dog, cat, giraffe, elephant, penguin, hippo, lion, horse, or panda. Now, I love dogs. I love dogs so much, but I also love elephants. Although, if I choose elephant, which character is that going to cater towards? I don't know. You know what? I'm gonna go left field here, no pun intended, and I'm gonna do the elephants. Okay. Rename Hercules. I'm not going to spoil as to who that is. Fluffy, Brutus, Fang, Max, Rocky, Bear, Bambino, Rex, or Hunter. Well, you know what? Since this is baseball and Babe Ruth is a vital part of the film, I'm going to do Bambino. Yo, I just finished the quiz and how I, I'm shook. I am speechless. I did not get Benny. I got Scott Smalls, y'all. Wow. I didn't know. I honestly didn't think that I was going to get him, and it doesn't even say why. There's nothing here on the bottom. I mean, should I just retake this quiz again? Maybe it was the elephant. I don't know. But you know what? Okay. That's it. I'm Scott Smalls. I am the socially awkward kid that is a newbie rookie in town that eventually becomes a good baseball player, at least not professionally, but just recreationally. Now that we have the results, let's dive into some fun facts that happened throughout the course of before, during, and after making this film before we wrap up the episode. So the first main fact, the director David Mickey Evans had one clear instruction for the actor who portrayed Squid during the pool scene with the lifeguard. Keep your tongue in your mouth. Okay. Okay, now that is wild, especially when you hear the details. Okay, so I've got a little PA for y'all. I met Marley Shelton, who plays Wendy Peppercorn, the lifeguard. I met her at a Comic Con about 2 years ago, and I got a chance to talk to her. And I'm not talking about like just a brief interaction, like, oh, I'm a big fan of you. No, I'm talking like full on convo. Like, first off, she is so fun and so lovely. And during our conversation, she mentioned her experience about filming this movie. And in her words, she had no clue it would grow into this cult favorite classic. And she still gets recognized to this day for being Wendy. And she's so grateful for it. And she said how when she was filming it, she was roughly 17 or 18. Being a teenager, filming this little independent film, it's like, it's just like this little project. Like probably not a lot of people are gonna see it. And then look at it now. It is seen by millions of people. That is insane. And when I got to talk to her, it was definitely one of my favorite interactions. I'm not gonna lie. And I have the picture, which I will show proof that it's not photoshopped and it's not AI. And I also got the chance to ask her about Scream 4 and Scream 5. And that is the closest, as of right now, that I have gotten to a Wes Craven production. Now, no spoilers on what character she plays. Y'all need to watch Scream 4 and Scream 5 and just solve it yourselves. All right? Now in Benny's dream, in the character Benny's dream, Babe Ruth asked to have his baseball card of Hank Aaron, which apparently was a nod to Hank Aaron breaking Babe Ruth's all-time home run record. Damn. I mean, I did the research on this, and yo, it's true. Hank Aaron beat Babe Ruth's record with his 715th career home run. Yo, that is a lot of power and even good aim and just distinctive timing just to get that many home runs. I mean, for me, just to get three is an accomplishment. Like, did he hit a home run every time he stepped up to the plate? Like he was probably like, yo, I got this in the bag. And maybe every pitcher that his team faced was like, nah, fam, I'm gonna be the one to strike him out. Talk about crazy facts. Now, the actor who also portrayed Smalls mentioned that obviously it takes place in the 60s, so they had to wear 60s clothing. And then during the 2/3 of the film where there was a chase scene, the outside temperatures rose to 105 degrees. Like he got overheated, dizzy, and he fainted while falling into a cameraman. Whew, I can imagine. I mean, yo, where was the water boy? Where was Adam Sandler? Adam Sandler could have given him some water. It's crazy, yo. But at least that he didn't have to go to the hospital or to the ER. So that's whew, to talk about a relief. And especially, for those that live in hot weather, y'all can sympathize with that. Y'all need to have a bottle of water wherever you go. And I mean, thankfully, everything was fine with him after he filmed that scene. The Sandlot was filmed. Now, The Sandlot was only shot in 42 days, which is also another ode to Jackie Robinson, whose famous number is 42. And it was shot entirely in chronological order. Now, y'all, that does not happen during production all the time. Usually it's about convenience when it comes to the availability of the actors, securing the locations, and getting the production team together, and much more. Like, my dream when I'm being on the set is hopefully get a film to be shot in chronological order, just so that way I could grow into the character and really become one with his feelings and be authentic when it comes to expressing that on camera. Like I said, I hope for that. Who knows if it's gonna happen? We'll see what happens. Anyway, the actors who portrayed Benny and Smalls, they were the last ones to be cast, and yet they are the two main characters in this film. And the way that they built their friendship, y'all, they were meeting and rehearsing for weeks before they met with the other guys. And that's because those other guys supposedly they believed that they were long friends before the production even happened. And from what I've gathered, they are still close friends to this day. That is super cool to have a lifelong friend from a mutual project and maintain it that long. Y'all, that doesn't happen often. So props to them for having that. Now, I didn't know about this fact until recently. Apparently, Robin Williams was going to voice the adult Scott Smalls, aka the narrator, instead of the director. I wonder why that didn't go through. Maybe there were scheduling conflicts with Robin Williams because he was popular in the 90s. Honestly, I don't even know. I kind of wonder how that would have been. Another fact. During production, the squad would live in the same apartment complex with their families, so that way they could all spend more time together while not filming. So that way their bond would be more enhanced because since they were minors, obviously there are certain days that minors can work up to a max amount of hours. So they would spend about 8 to 10 hours a day filming. So it was good that they all lived together to enhance that bond. So I'm sure they had a lot of fun time outside of filming. And you know what? It worked because with this next fun fact, they all snuck into Basic Instinct, the movie, while it was in theaters. Wow. And that's because Basic Instinct is a rated R film and there is a memorable scene in Basic Instinct. I am gonna let y'all let's just say there's a reason why they all snuck in to see that film. I'm gonna let y'all's curiosity get to the best of it. I mean, they say curiosity killed the cat, but I'm sure this curiosity is not gonna kill your brain. But if y'all want to research it, that is on your doing. So the fact that they all snuck in, I have questions. Like, did they use the back door? There's 9 of them. Like, they all range from like 11 to 14 when they were making this film. So crazy. It's just so crazy. Okay, so to close the episode up, usually I end my episodes with a movie buzz or I throw a curveball with a critical thinking exercise. But this time I thought I would do more of a positive impact than a positive quote. No, it is not about going to play baseball. Unless y'all are baseball players and that's your thing, okay, even better. And no, it is not watching any of my summer movies, although that would be nice because I do recommend these for y'all. No, my homework for y'all is very simple and yet it can be tempting. Whenever you see the opportunity, try to be off your phone or any piece of technology for an extended period of time and like just go outside, get some fresh air with Mother Nature. If you're with friends, even better, because that's how you can practice being in the present moment and just not having to post every second of what's going on in your life. Now, to be clear, I'm not saying for y'all to take a 3 month sabbatical. No, not at all. All I am doing is encouraging just a simple break, especially if the screen time on your phone is very high, then this sign is for you. So you can see how you feel when you're away from your phone for a bit, whether you're at the pool or you're doing a sports activity. Maybe some of y'all like to go camping and hiking, whatever it is that you enjoy. Take that break and live your life so that you become self aware if you feel the need to go on your phone. Because if some of y'all have children, nieces or nephews, or even younger cousins, encourage them as well. Like go outside and throw a frisbee around. Maybe get spike ball. Maybe there's somewhere in your local neighborhood that has a diamond shaped baseball that you can play with your friends. Go play baseball with a foam bat or a real bat if you want to be a baseball player in high school or even in middle school. Just something to go out there. Go and be one with Mother Nature and see what you feel. Now, I'm just throwing some ideas out here for y'all. So now I will mention as a warning, if it gets hot where you're at, stay hydrated. That is not an encouragement. That's an order. All right, y'all have a pleasant day or night, and I'll catch y'all next time.